Joe Pyfer secured a huge victory over Abdul Magomed with a second-round rear naked choke, and the MMA community had plenty to say about it. The fight started off rough for Pyfer. In the opening round, Magomed imposed his wrestling, controlling much of the action and leaving Pyfer struggling to find his rhythm. But things changed dramatically in the second round. Pyfer dropped Magomed with a powerful shot, transitioned to mount, then quickly took the back and locked in the submission, forcing the tap. Analysts and fighters alike shared their reactions. Luke Thomas noted that Pyfer may have lost the first round, but his adjustment in the second was flawless, turning the tide with striking and grappling transitions. Kamaru Usman praised Pyfer's grappling, emphasizing the composure he showed under pressure. Derek Brunson also weighed in, complimenting Pyfer's performance but reminding him to stay focused outside the cage by avoiding controversial comments in interviews. In his post-fight comments, Pyfer was candid about his struggles. He admitted he felt unusually fatigued in the first round, attributing it to the weight cut. "I was there mentally, but physically I felt so tired and drained," Pyfer explained. "He dominated me early, but I knew the longer the fight went, the more he would slow down." Pyfer's strategy was to weather the storm in round 1, minimize damage, and capitalize once Magomed began to tire. The game plan worked perfectly, and he delivered the finish. Pyfer described the pivotal moment in detail. "I know I have big power. When I hit him right on the ear, I could tell it hurt him. He's not a guy who likes to get hit hard or pressured." While he acknowledged Magomed's toughness and skill, Pyfer was also honest in his assessment. "Is he the kind of guy to take a 15-minute beating? I don't believe so, but he is skilled, and that makes him dangerous." The win over Magomed, who entered the fight with a record of 28-6 and only notable losses to Kyle Baralho and Sean Strickland, immediately elevated Pyfer's stock. Not only did Pyfer secure the finish, but he did it faster than both Strickland and Baralho, two respected names in the division. Pyfer argued that this should earn him a spot in the top 15 rankings, stating confidently that he's ready for the next level of competition. As for what's next, Pyfer expressed interest in fighting again toward the end of the year or early in the new year, depending on his health. He admitted to feeling some discomfort in his elbow after landing multiple strikes, so medical clearance will play a role in his timeline. Still, he didn't hesitate to call out Marvin Vettori as his preferred opponent. "I think Marvin's a great fighter, and I would like to test myself against him," Pyfer said, adding respectful condolences regarding Vettori's recent personal loss. Pyfer's performance was a statement win. It showcased his resilience, fight IQ, and ability to execute a comeback under pressure. With this victory, he not only earned a spot in the rankings conversation but also opened the door to big matchups in the middleweight division. Fans and analysts alike now await to see if the UFC gives him the chance to climb further up the ladder against top-tier opponents like Vettori. Before moving on to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We're always working to improve our content and truly value your support. If you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, it would mean a lot to us. That way, you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Youssef Zalal delivered a spectacular victory over Josh Emmett, securing a submission win via armbar in the very first round. The fight ended in just 1 minute and 38 seconds, extending Zalal's winning streak to 8 consecutive fights. In contrast, Josh Emmett has now dropped 4 of his last 5 outings, a statistic that raises questions about his future in the division. The MMA community quickly reacted to Zalal's dominant performance. Bilal Muhammad praised him, saying, "Statement made. Zalal is a monster." Terrence McKinney was stunned by the quick finish, exclaiming, "No way, that was so quick." Meanwhile, Derek Brunson offered his analysis, commenting, "Nice sub by Youssef Zalal. I thought Emmett was a livelier underdog than he showed tonight. I guess the plus 380 odds made sense after all." For Zalal, however, the win carried far more meaning than just another victory on his record. Speaking emotionally after the fight, he shared how much representing his family means to him, particularly his parents and his late brother. "It makes me proud to represent my mom, my dad, and of course my brother who passed away. Rest in peace. Representing the Zalal family means the world to me. I'm getting a little emotional right now, but I'm so happy and grateful I was able to experience this moment with my mom here tonight. Even if I accomplished nothing else, I will always cherish this." Reflecting on his strategy, Zalal explained how he approached the matchup against Emmett. Despite Emmett being 40 years old, Zalal refused to underestimate him. "People think he's slow because of his age, but he's not. He's still fast and dangerous. That's why I gave him respect, but he also had to respect my game, and rushing in against me is never a good idea. Tonight, I proved that." Zalal admitted there was a brief moment where Emmett was able able to flip the position on him, but thanks to his training with his coach and jiu-jitsu professor, he remained calm. I was a little too high at one point, which is why he managed to reverse me, but I've trained for years under my professor, one of the best armbar specialists I've ever met. I knew once I had Emmett's arm secured in my grip, it was over. The moment I felt the lock, I said to myself, this is mine. I gave Emmett respect. When he tapped, I let go immediately. We both walked out healthy, and that's important. The quick submission win also adds to Zal's growing reputation as a dangerous contender in the featherweight division. While Leon Edwards needed 5 rounds to defeat Emmett in the past, Zal did it in under 2 minutes. Looking forward, he expressed interest in climbing further up the rankings. Diego is on a crazy streak right now, and if he gets a big win, I'd love to fight him. I'd also be open to facing Lerone Murphy. Whoever wins could fight for a title shot. My ultimate goal remains the same. I want to be a world champion, and I believe I will be. With this performance, Zal has sent a clear message to the division. He's not just on a hot streak, he's ready for top competition. Move on to another news. Jiri Prochazka once again proved why he is one of the most unpredictable and dangerous fighters in the UFC, as he defeated Khalil Rountree via knockout in the 3rd round of their light heavyweight clash. What made the victory even more dramatic was the fact that Prochazka was trailing on all the judges' scorecards heading into the final round. With his back against the wall, Jiri did what only a few fighters in the world are capable of. He turned the tide in an instant with a perfectly timed finish that left the MMA community in awe. Michael Chandler summed up the emotions of many fans and fighters when he reacted, "Jiri versus Rountree is why we love this sport. Anyone, anytime can turn the tide. What a fight. It was a contest that had everything, chaos, drama, and a finish that will be replayed for years." Bilal Muhammad echoed the same sentiment during the fight, tweeting, "Jiri is nuts. Khalil needs to stick to staying away from the chaos." Ariel Helwani, never short of words in big fight moments, wrote, "Holy, Jiri, let's go. What a comeback." Veteran Matt Brown simply declared, "Jiri is my hero." Anthony Pettis called it the fight of the night, while rising star Adrian Yanez added, "That was absolutely nuts." Kamaru Usman perhaps put it best when he reacted with, "Holy, Jiri is a madman." The entire MMA world seemed united in agreement Prochazka had delivered something special. For Jiri himself, the fight was not just about landing a knockout punch, it was about survival, resilience, and proving his warrior spirit once again. In his post-fight comments, he reflected on the chaos he willingly embraces every time he steps into the cage. "It was necessary," he said, pausing before emphasizing again, "it was necessary to go through the blood, to endure the war. When the blood comes, when the chaos comes, that is when it becomes truly necessary. For me, tonight, it was necessary to be really in the game, to really want it, to be here and now and find a way." That statement encapsulates the essence of Prochazka's fighting style. He thrives in disorder, finds clarity in chaos, and transforms adversity into opportunity. Against Khalil Rountree, he showcased that once again. For much of the fight, Rountree had success using his movement and power shots, frustrating Jiri in banking rounds. Judges had Rountree ahead across the board, and many believed Jiri needed a finish in the 3rd to win. With time ticking away, Prochazka pressed forward with relentless pressure, absorbing shots and walking into the fire. His unorthodox footwork and wild angles opened the door for a decisive strike. A perfectly placed right hand caught Rountree clean, and Jiri swarmed with ruthless precision until the referee stepped in. The arena erupted, and just like that, a fight that was slipping away turned into one of the most memorable wins of his career. For fans, it was another reminder of why Jiri Prochazka has quickly become a cult figure in MMA. His style may not be textbook, but his heart, unpredictability, and warrior mentality make him must-watch television every time he fights. Against Khalil Rountree, he once again walked through fire, embraced the chaos, and emerged victorious, exactly the way Jiri Prochazka intends it. Move on to another news. Alex Pereira, one of the UFC's most dynamic and feared fighters, once again demonstrated why he is considered among the elite when he defeated Magomed Goliath via TKO in the very first round. The bout ended in emphatic fashion, with Pereira delivering a powerful and decisive finish that left no doubt about his dominance inside the octagon. Yet, despite the electrifying victory, Pereira chose to use the moment not for himself but to honor a fallen figure close to the MMA community. Immediately after the fight, he asked the entire arena to take a moment of silence in respect for Arthur Jones, the older brother of UFC legend John Jones, who had tragically passed away just days earlier at the age of 39. The crowd went quiet as Pereira stood solemnly in the center of the cage, paying tribute to Arthur's life and legacy. Jon Jones himself acknowledged the gesture on social media, responding with a heartfelt, "Wow, Alex," accompanied by a praying hands emoji. The act of respect resonated deeply, reminding fans that even in a sport built on combat, moments of unity and compassion transcend the cage. The MMA community reacted strongly to Pereira's victory and his tribute. Justin Gaethje called Pereira a straight inspiration, adding that coming back and reclaiming success multiple times made him a true beast. Henry Cejudo declared, "Poatan is back on top of the world," while Max Holloway simply posted, "Damn." Diego Lopez added, "Poatan, no chance today. The champ is back." Renato Moicano went a step further, arguing that Pereira might be the best Brazilian fighter to ever exist. Derek Brunson described the fight as quick, while Kamaru Usman reacted with a simple, "Geez, B came to thump." Anthony Pettis stated, "Alex B is different," and Petr Yan remarked that the fight was a clear reminder of how drastically rematches can differ from the first encounter. In his post-fight comments, Pereira opened up emotionally about the experience. He admitted that in his last fight he was not in peak condition, and many doubted his claims. "I told everyone I was not in a good condition last time. Nobody believed it, but you saw tonight, I was very well," he said. He explained that he had prepared a speech, but the news of Arthur Jones' passing changed his priorities, compelling him to honor the Jones family. He reflected on his journey, saying vengeance and negativity can be like poison, and instead he focused on discipline, preparation, and respect. Pereira made it clear that he is ready for whatever comes next, even hinting at a move to heavyweight. UFC CEO Dana White later revealed that Pereira had already expressed interest in such a jump. White praised him as one of the most dependable fighters in the organization, someone who accepts fights on short notice, competes through injuries, and constantly looks for challenges. With his quick dismantling of Magomed Goliath, Pereira not only reminded fans of his devastating striking power but also elevated his reputation as a fighter who embodies respect, resilience, and professionalism. His win, paired with his tribute to Jon Jones' family, made this night one that will be remembered not only for the knockout but also for its humanity. Move on to another news. Mike Perry delivered another brutal performance at BKFC 82, defeating veteran fighter Jeremy Stephens via TKO in the 5th round. The fight was an all-out war, with both men showing toughness and grit, but Perry's relentless aggression and power finally overwhelmed Stephens. After the referee stopped the fight, Perry, clearly emotional and charged with adrenaline, took the microphone and addressed both the crowd and Conor McGregor, who was in attendance. In true Platinum Perry fashion, he opened with unapologetic words that echoed McGregor's iconic UFC speech. Perry said, "Anything I've ever said that might have ridiculed anyone in this company, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The king of violence does what he wants, whenever he wants, and I'm grateful for it." The crowd erupted, recognizing the homage to McGregor while also appreciating Perry's raw authenticity. Perry then turned his attention directly to McGregor, making it clear that he wants the Irish superstar to step into the bare-knuckle ring someday. "How could you come here, sit ringside, see this live, and not want to be a part of it?" Perry asked with conviction. "I know for sure I want to take part in this. I'm lining this up. I've got my fight. I understand how it works. I'll do the media stuff, I'll say the quotes, I'll play along with the promotion. But at the end of the day, what I really want is to fight the best. And Conor, that's you." Perry also addressed the idea of a title fight, specifically the question of why he hasn't pursued a bout with David Mindell for the BKFC World Championship. To Perry, however, the belt isn't the main prize, his sights are set higher. "People keep asking why I don't just fight for the world title," Perry explained. "Look, you saw Christine Faria tonight. She's the women's champion, and she rightfully holds the title of Queen of Violence. That's an incredible legacy. But for me, it's not about disrespect or avoiding the belt. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mindell and everyone who's earned their place here. For me, it's about legacy, and my legacy is to prove that I'm the true king of violence. That means facing the biggest names, the most dangerous fighters, and putting on the kinds of wars that people will never forget." The message was clear. While a BKFC championship is prestigious, Perry's real mission is to create moments that resonate across the combat sports world. His victory over Stephens was another step toward solidifying his reputation as one of the most fearless and entertaining fighters in bare-knuckle history. But Perry wasn't finished. He circled back to Conor McGregor, this time in a more respectful tone. "I mean this with the highest level of respect," Perry said. "Conor, you're a legend. You've done it all. But I would love to share this ring with you someday. Not for disrespect, not for clout, but for the fight, for the violence, for the history." The call-out was equal parts homage and challenge, delivered delivered with Perry's trademark mix of wild energy and genuine passion. Whether McGregor ever accepts the offer remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Mike Perry continues to carve out his unique legacy as BKFC's most polarizing star, a man who lives by his own words: the king of violence does what he wants. Move on to another news. At UFC 320, Alex Pereira once again proved why he is one of the most electrifying fighters in the sport today. The Brazilian powerhouse recaptured his light heavyweight title in spectacular fashion, delivering a first-round knockout over Magomed Ankalaev in the highly anticipated rematch at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The victory not only secured his place back on the throne at 205 pounds but also reignited the discussion about Pereira's ambitions to make history in the UFC. From the opening bell, it was clear that Pereira had learned from their first encounter. Whereas Ankalaev previously gave him trouble with his range and countering, this time Poetin came prepared. His timing, composure, and striking adjustments were flawless, culminating in a devastating knockout that left no doubt about who the better man was on fight night. The win instantly reminded the MMA world why Pereira is not only a fan favorite but also one of the most dangerous fighters across multiple weight classes. However, Pereira's ambitions don't end at light heavyweight gold. Ever since leaving the middleweight division behind, the Brazilian has hinted at a move to heavyweight, openly stating that his dream is to become the first fighter in UFC history to hold championships in 3 different divisions. This ambition, long considered bold, now feels more realistic than ever. Interestingly, Pereira revealed that he had originally prepared a post-fight speech to call out former heavyweight king Jon Jones, widely regarded as the greatest fighter in MMA history. Instead, Pereira made a heartfelt decision to dedicate his victory speech to Jones' late brother, Arthur Jones, honoring the loss with respect and dignity. It was a moment that showed a different side of Pereira, one that balanced his ferocious competitive spirit with compassion. But while his official octagon speech may not have included the call-out, Pereira wasted little time making his intentions clear afterward. In a backstage interview with the UFC's About Last Fight, the 38-year-old champion openly declared that his target is Jon Jones, and that he envisions the fight happening on one of the most unique stages in combat sports history, the upcoming UFC White House event. Heavyweight is the most probable next, Pereira said confidently. Not Aspinall, not Gain. I don't want just another fight, I want a super fight. And for me, that super fight is Jon Jones at the White House. By dismissing interim champion Tom Aspinall and former title holder Cyril Gane, Pereira made it clear that his goals are not tied to the rankings or divisional politics. Instead, he seeks legacy-defining moments. A showdown with Jon Jones would not only be a clash of 2 all-time greats but also one of the most marketable and historic fights in UFC history. At 38, Pereira understands that time is not on his side, but his trajectory continues to defy conventional expectations. From becoming a 2-division champion in record time to now chasing the status of a 3-division champion, Poetin is daring to attempt what no one has ever done before. For fans, the idea of Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones at heavyweight is nothing short of a dream fight, a battle between 2 icons that could define an era. And if UFC 320 was any indication, Pereira is ready to take that leap into history.